Right, when you're practicing your short game, this is what you've got to do. First thing, take all your other clubs out, stick them in the car, leave them there. So I've actually got a 8, 9, wedge, 54 and a 60. Leave the other ones in there because we can't be trusted. We literally cannot be trusted with those because every time they're there, our short game practice sessions get compromised by drivers and 3-irons and hybrids and 5-irons and 7-irons. Leave them in the car. You can't get them then. Top tip. I know you're going to feel sad, but come on, you can do it. Leave them in the car, take your wedges to the range. Morning everyone, hope everybody's well. I've managed to wake up with a crick neck, which is a little bit annoying. Have you ever had that? It's weird, isn't it? Just sleep on the pillow funny. But anyway, less of the excuses. So it was nice to have a few of those before we start. After the last, I guess the success of the last video that I did, which was purely on kind of short around the green chip shots, I'll put a link above. I'm kind of going to look at this week on the shots from 100 yards and in, and how crucial they are, and some tips to help you guys get a bit more consistent from that area. It's absolutely vital, as you can imagine. I'll try and do some stats in a minute to give you an idea of just how crucial it is, but for the time being we are at the Players Club. We're on the short course, which they call the Water Garden. It's a great course, just because every hole is just under 100 yards, and it's perfect for those short shots. We do play off mats, which is a bit of a shame, but obviously you can imagine with just hitting wedges, tees would get torn up terribly. So, but it's still really good for your short game. If you've got access to a short course like this, try and get out and use it, because it's absolutely crucial, this area of the game. If you haven't, I'm going to do some things on the driving range which will help you a bit later on. So here's the first hole. It's 107 yards. Because I've got a 54 which goes around 100, I'm kind of stuck already because my wedge goes about 130. So I'm going to hit a wedge, but I'm just going to take a little bit off it and see how close we can get proximity to the hole. Not really a lot to say about this one, apart from there's no wind today, which is fantastic, and there's bushes down the right and to the back, so the miss is definitely not long or right. Anything just short of the green is fine. Obviously we're going to try and hit the green if we can from here. It's 107 yards, so let's give it a go. That's a good one to start off with. As you'll know, I try and show the outcome of most of my shots, just to give you a real understanding of kind of, I guess, where I think I'm off +1 now, but I'm about scratch basically, where a scratch player is. I've just hit my first one, 106. It was good for yardage, and not sure you can see it just yet, but I'll pan it round. We'll see. I expect to miss some greens, even though they're all from 100 yards. To be honest with you, a lot of people do. I think the tour average proximity, 100 yards, is about 15 to 20 foot, which is not close at all. Obviously you've got some guys going really close, because we watch leaders all the time. You know, we're watching the TV. Here we go. It's got there. That's my first one. Really happy with that. We're watching kind of tour players most of the time, your Mickelsons and your Jay Stays and stuff. They're normally winning the tournament, so they really are on point with their short games at that point. But the rest of the field, the other 150 players, are nowhere near as good as you imagine. Doesn't mean to say we've got to let off on our short games and think we're good enough, but it does mean we need realistic goals and achievable goals. Anyway, see if I can knock this first one in. Okay, birdie on the first. I always find this little course really tricky. Distance control is a key factor, and a lot of the holes are in that awkward distance where it's a lot of touch and feel. I mean, if they were all 130 yards, it would be so much easier, because I would just kind of hit a wedge and it would always be at least on the green somewhere, especially off a perfect lie. On a tee, you know. Anyway, 1 under. This next hole is beautiful, and this is a tricky hole. As you can see, we're really spoilt here, because it's just framed so nicely. It looks such a long hole. It's 54 yards. So again, I got my 60 degree, which goes 70 yards. Maybe 70 or 80, and here 54, so we're even cutting back on that hole, and I find this one the trickiest because it looks like a longer hole than it actually is. Very hard to kind of not give it too much. So I just slightly pulled that one, but it's okay for distance, which is kind of one of the most important things with short games, getting those distances right. So here's that one, pretty good for distance. Oh, we've got a bit of foliage on the green here, but it's another possible birdie chance there. Let's give it a go. I'll put you down there. Okay, on to the third. As you can see, we have some trouble. It's about 70 yards, so really this water's not in play, but there is bushes behind and a little bit of trouble to the right. So see how we get on here. 1 under at the moment. Okay, that was pretty close, that one. Happy with that. There was a problem. That was a problem. Always nice to look at, never nice to go in. 70 yards. I hit them quite well. It's kind of more in my 60 degree zone there. I could be sort of just hit a nice smooth kind of full shot. This is what I've got left. So happy with that one. That was straightforward. My distance control's pretty good today. I'll dump you down there. See if we can make another birdie. So far so good. Couple under. And I'm sure it won't continue like this. So this one's the fourth, and this one is 70 yards. They're doing a bit of work down here, so ignore all that. I'm going to actually take a 54 and take a bit off of it because it's a little bit windy. No trouble at all on this hole, just want to get the distance right. So I'll hit my 54 here. Okay, that was close. Sorry about this clanking, by the way. I've taken all my other clubs out, so they're all bashing away. But it's, you know, you really, these 100-yard shots, and I know the guys out there that are average kind of 90 shooters, it's a really difficult distance. But just a small percentage up on what you've got will make a massive difference. from 100 yards. They say that a 90 shooter actually misses the green from 100 yards like 30% of the time. You've got to sort that out. I mean, everybody misses the green, but there we go. Just did that one, a live one, so that's a close one. I'll try and keep the camera going so you can see. This is the shot. This is the shots, you know, that I hit. I think I've got a good chance of making birdie here. Here we go. That was good, but I do know we've got a really tricky one coming up now. There's water, a very narrow green. There's water all the way up into the green, and then there's lost ball behind the green. What have we got? It's 108 yards. That's what we've got. Now, for me, if you can see, I'm not sure you can see this, but we've got the water there, and then we've got really bad behind the water, and there's a path just over the green, so if you go slightly long, it bounces on. 108 yards, I'm looking at the water and I'm thinking, I know that my 100-yard shot will clear the water. That's the first thing. But the idea of me taking exactly the right amount off of a 125-yard shot is difficult, or certainly more difficult than just getting over this water and not going long. So I'd like to be close, but I think I'm going to hit my 100-yard shot and hope the little bit of downwind will help me out and get me there, rather than try and do a saucy one and taking something off of a wedge, which I don't really want to do. This is one of those shots you've got to manage your expectations. So I'm a few under, and let's just say that you're a few better than you hope. You get to this one, you just think to yourself, well, let's try and see how we get, because we can get up and down as soon as we carry this water, but if it goes long, it's gone. Anyway, let's have a look. Right, wasn't the best, but I'm over the water and I'm short of the trouble behind, so that's kind of a win. I think I have missed the green left, which is not great. Now with a lot of these short shots, especially the 100-yard shots, it's kind of all about trusting your technique and being relaxed as much as possible, because it makes such a drastic difference. When you get a drive and you're just slashing at it, or you're hitting a full swing of any kind, it's a lot easier for your body to maintain what you've done before, because it's kind of just pretty much 70 or 80%. Probably a lot of you guys flat out hit it as hard as you can, and that swing tempo is a lot easier to be consistent. Whereas when you've got a wedge shot and it's not flat out, you're just trying to chip it up there somewhere, or trying to hit taking a little bit off of it, it's very easy to have an inconsistent strike, even the shot inconsistent. Here we go, there I am there. So I did miss the green, but again, the weight was really good. That's pin high. So luckily it was pin high, which made a big difference. I'll dab you down here, and I think I'm going to putt that one. That's a 3, and it's a dangerous hole, that as well. So I'm quite happy with that, because looking back to the tee, you can see where it could be some issues. And often there are issues. Okay, on to the next, the 6th. As you can see here, we have more water. That's before the green and behind the green. It's a great little course though, isn't it? You know, just for hitting nice little short shots. Got to find somewhere to put you now. This one's 76 yards. Look how cool that looks. Got water all the way around there, all the way around the back side, over the back, short. Definitely don't want to get this one wrong. Let's dump you down here. Again, because there's a lot of wind up there, I don't find, and we're elevated off this tee. Oh, you look a bit wonky there, mate. Is that better? No, not really. God, you're right on the wonk. Hang on. That's better. Hopefully you can see me. Because we're quite elevated here and there is a bit of wind, but it's hard to feel because of the trees, a bit of shelter on either side. I don't really want to hit a 60 right up into the up above those trees because of the wind. So I'm going to hold one down a little bit with my 54, 70 yards, and I'm going to hit about a 70% swing. So I'm going to go back, so that'll be my full swing. I'm just going to come back to about maybe there and hold it there. And if you're thinking more than anything, we're trying to just get the distance of the swing from this side to that side to be equal. And it's quite a good mental picture if you try and get to there. And what you're thinking when you get to this position is to holding it to the same position there rather than going all the way through. It really does help. It's like throwing a ball. If you were going to throw a ball into a bucket, you would kind of naturally release it. Maybe as it goes shorter, you're going to let go of it slightly shorter, and your throws, the throw of your arm is going to be slightly different, because that's where the speed comes from of the ball. And so if you were just throwing a short one, you would just do that. You wouldn't go, you know, and likewise, if you had a great big long throw, you wouldn't go like this, you would throw it. And it's the same kind of visualization with these shots. Just kind of trying to get to a point in the backswing which you've worked out before you get out here how far that goes, and we'll do that on the range in a minute. Anyway, 76 yards, water everywhere. Okay, it's all right, it's online. Right kind of yardage. Yes, that one was on target, which is quite nice. It's not quite, I'd like to have it a little bit closer than that, but that's okay. You can see all the trouble, so we can just move on to the next one, which is a bit of a longer hole. This is nice, watch this, through here. Might be able to see my ball over there, through that area. If you're ever in the Bristol area, you should come and play here. It's great, especially as a nice warm-up before you go out on maybe the big course. It really does dial in your short shots. Here we go. You see that? I'm a little bit short, but I do have a straight uphiller, so there is a chance of a half decent putt. Look at, we're surrounded by water here. Water, water, water. So it's good fun course. The greens are really good here, but they are slightly different to the big courses, so it does catch you out at times. Now the next hole, we're teeing off over here and we're going to that green over there. Now this one looks looks a tricky hole, but actually it's a bit easier because it's just a full shot. Usually plays about 120, so it's a nice wedge. And but we do have some water issues again. Here we go. Here's our tee, and we're going to that green there. You see it? It's cool, isn't it? Good fun. And the other great thing about this is it takes about 20 minutes to play round. I like it. I'm going to have to do a bit of an aerial view here because I can't get you up on that tee. Not sure what I can do here. Having said that, I've just done my normal tendency. Just pitched on the left of the green and fell off to the left, so we're definitely going to have a chip shot up here, I'm pretty sure. So here we got it. That was the tee over there. I'm not sure you can see in that little clump, you see that area over there. So we came over this water, very nice. The green actually rolls with a bit of a bowl, so not so much in the winter, but definitely in the summer. It just kind of bounces off either way. But you are, like I said, hitting a fuller shot, so you do have a lot more control back there. Now I think I pitched around here somewhere and just rolled off the edge, which is not a terrible shot, but it's a classic example. I mean, I really am expecting to get this up and down 8 times out of 10. So that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you guys might be 5 or 4 times out of 10, but it's definitely got to be in your head that this is a chance actually to possibly like make a par rather than, oh god, I've missed the green, I'm never going to get up and down. Because the first thing is, if you're able to just chip it onto the middle of this green here, if you just chip it onto about here, then you've got 12 foot for a par. I mean, that's not, that's not out the realms of possibility. So here's the chip shot. I'll put a link above. I kind of look a lot more into these shots on my previous 2 videos, but this is a little short shot. Good idea for me to just talk you through it. So I'm looking at the shot. The first thing is I looked at the lie. The lie's okay, actually. There's a bit of grass, so I can pretty much do what I like with that. I've got my 60-degree wedge, which I play all these shots with. Again, I explained why in the last video. I've got a little raised section here, and it goes on to this. This is still actually an upslope to about here, and then it rolls off the other side. So what I'm thinking is hitting a chip shot of about sort of maybe this height, maybe about a little bit lower, land it around here and try to control it around this area, because if it stops dead here, it's fine. I've got like I said, I've got like an 8-foot putt for par. If it just rolls out a bit, it's stone dead, and that's all good. But if it gets away from me, it's going to roll probably off the green, and then it really is a tricky one. So I'm not sure where to put you with this. I'll put you down by the hole. Yeah. See what we can do. Hopefully you can see everything there. So I'm sort of pitching around this area. Lie's pretty good. From here it looks quite intimidating because this is all an upslope up to this point, and then it runs down to you. So I'm really thinking around this area. Okay. Again, I'm trying to see my back swing and my forward swing here to how far I'm going to throw it. It's about that far. Okay, I pushed it a tiny bit, but it pitched here, like we said, and rolled past to here, and that really is kind of just a kick in there with a wedge. Okay, so there was a lot of thought gone into that shot. I do it pretty quickly because I've done it a lot over the years. You don't want to walk pace about and annoy your playing partners all the time, but that was some of the thinkings that I do into each chip shot like that. The first thing is look at the lie to see if you've you can actually play the shot you want to. Like if it's really bare, you're not going to be able to play the Mickelson float shot. So the lie was good, that's the first thing. Once you've got a lie and you know you can play what you like, then look at the lie of the green and see where you're going to pitch it on the green, if that's the shot you're going for. The green is always going to have, or often have, some sort of slope on it. And your ball's going to be landing on that slope. So obviously it's going to kick one way or the other, either towards the hole, or it's going to check up because it's into a slope, or it's going to kick right and left. So you have to have all these things, information in your head when you see your shot. And you'll be amazed when you do this, how much better your chip shots will be. Because you take a lot of care and attention over a putt. I've seen people walking around putts for seemingly hours to try and hole it, and then they get a chip shot and just get up and chip it. So it's as important, it's just as important as a tap-in putt or a long drive. So, and the other great thing about those small chips is you can actually chip it as good as the best chipper in the world. Not everybody has the power, speed, control and technique to hit a tee shot 350, but you can hit a chip shot perfect, so and get the satisfaction out of that and make the par. Anyway, onto this hole. You can see water all down the right. I'm not good, because my tendency is to go left if anything. I'm not worried about the water on the right. It's 110 yards. Probably hit a soft wedge, and see what we do when we get down there. Okay, it's not the best, but it's on the green, which is kind of a goal. It's sort of pin-eye to the right, so that does mean I'm putting up the slope. I wasn't really thinking those things. I don't like to overthink these 120-yard shots. I do like to see where the trouble is, where the bad shot, where the bad miss is, to make sure that's not in my brain. So I'll look at it and I will try and imagine the good shot. Don't imagine that you're hitting it like into the bad stuff, but I try and think of where a good miss is. And when I know where a good miss is, it seems to take the pressure off the shot a bit, because I know that there is a good bailout point. Let's just say all the trouble's down the right. I'll probably maybe draw it in there a little bit, going away from the trouble, or just try and visualize where it's going. Again, that's quite important, but you've got to give yourself confidence by doing a fair amount of work on the range on these shots. Yeah, that's where we are. Not too bad, bit of a straight uphiller. Kind of outside chance. I guess maybe 10% chance of holding this one. Never broke. I think that's still, I think that's 3 under. Going to the 9th. I've actually played pretty good. This is tricky round here. It's so easy to make a mistake. As I was saying earlier, those little 50-yard shots with water everywhere, it's kind of quite easy to judge it wrong. This one's 100 yards. That's fine, it's my stock 100-yard shot. The pin's on the front, I can see, so it will spin a bit off these mats, so that'll be just about right for me, I think. A little 100-yarder. It's on the green. It's okay. Not the best shot I've hit. I've been quite surprised, really. All my shots today have been quite close proximity. I think my wedge play has improved over the winter. I've worked quite hard on it. It's the only way you get better, unfortunately. The more you hit. Sometimes you can be blessed with a good technique, you know. You find people out in the golf, oh, you know, Dave, he hits it so well off the tee, blah, blah, blah. You know, some people are just naturally gifted at certain areas of the game. For everybody else, just got to work at it. Get on the range, know your distance. Try and get a good technique. which can be helped by seeing your coach, your PGA Pro, or just analysing your own chip shots and find out what your misses and what your patterns are. Anyway, here we are. Well, that was going to break a little bit more. Okay, few under, not bad. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe learnt a little something from it. Give me a like or a comment. Maybe subscribe, because 70% of you are not subscribed. But that'd be nice. But if not, no worries. Keep watching. Hopefully enjoying the content. Hopefully you learnt something from that, or just enjoyed chilling out and coming around a par 3 course with me. Maybe pop down to the Players here and give it a whirl, or maybe get to your local, even your pitch and putt par 3. As long as the greens are proper greens, you know, because you can go to some of these places where there's literally, it's not green, it's a cut bit of mown area with a flag in it. Look forward to seeing you next week. I should be posting next Wednesday again. All the best, and I'll see you then.